I'm making this video for Anirban. It's his birthday. So, two reasons why I'm making this video public. Number one, because he will love it. Number two, because a lot of us have felt a lot of things in our head but not been able to put it in words. And that is something which I do quite nicely. So, I think a lot of you will relate to this because there has been a lot of time. I'm using the word lot a lot. Okay, so there has been a lot of time when we have felt the similar feelings, but then we have not been able to put it into words. So I think this is going to help you to make your special one feel special. I should have had a script. Okay, whatever. So I made this ugly heart card. I wanted to make this look like a melting chocolate over a cake because that is how my heart feels when I see him, but I messed it up. The glue ended and this thread also ended, so this became clumsy. Yours does not need to be so clumsy. I cut out cardboard pieces into heart shapes and I just joined them edge to edge and wrote whatever I wanted to. So okay, before I start, any of you who's feeling that this is boring or this is attention seeking or this is mushy, pause, click the back button. Bye. If you are staying, if you are listening to this, I am sure you're going to find a lot of things relatable, relatable. You're going to find a lot of relatable stuff which you have felt or would feel if you're in love. On Airban, I wanted to make a melting chocolate cake look because that is what my heart becomes when you're around. But I messed it up. Here's to all the moments I felt lucky having you by my side. Okay, maybe not all the moments because that would make a list which never ends, but those where I felt proud to have known you. খুব গর্ব হচ্ছে তাই না? আজকের দিনটা ভাও খেয়ে নে। অনেক অনেক। আর বেশি চান্স পাবি না। অনির্বাণ চ্যাটার্জি, you make my heart go, Every morning when I find it so hard to make it out of bed because I'm eternally depressed all the time. When I do not find a purpose to, get out of my bed, to do anything, I call you and you on the other side, you're making puppy noises on the phone. And the way you say that good morning actually makes me feel that there is something good to look forward to. There was a time, this was the second one, this was during, we were going through this breakup and patch up phase. And I remember there's this place called Goriahat in Kolkata. So we are sitting down, holding each other's hands in a staircase outside somebody's house. I don't know. And I hold his hand and I tell him, "Are we going to be together? Do you want to be with me?" And he looks at me and he tells me, "I do not know how to want something more than wanting to be with you." And I was like, when you're around my dog and you say your Pongo's Baba, I don't know, I feel so. When we sat by the lake just before the day of my operation, and I held your hand and I cried about how everything was going wrong, how things were so dismal, how scared I was about everything, and you told me, "This is a phase, this is going to pass. You're together in this. So even though this is a bad one, let's try to enjoy this." You've taught me how to enjoy myself in the most morbid situations. 5. When every time I look outside the car window when I'm listening to a sad song and I start behaving um, like I'm out of this Bollywood movie set, there is this, like, there are certain parts of the song which you'll relate to and you'll feel like crying. And just when I'm having that moment, just when I'm about to cry, or just when I'm gulping down that lump down my throat, he would look at me. He just knows, I don't know how he knows. He will just look at me and he'll give his hand below my chin and tell me, chin down. And I'll put my chin over his hand like a puppy. And I don't know, that just makes me forget what was making me sad. That just makes me ruin my sad character mode and I become happy. 6. When I won my first award for acting in college, and I called my parents and I told them, ki, Amma, Baba, I've got this award and I was really happy. And they were like, তাতে কি হয়েছে ডাক্তারি করো পড়াশুনো করো. So me getting me getting an award for acting was not never something that made them ecstatic. So I called him after that and he listened to the entire thing and he told me, my baby is a rock star. So I know this is a very, very cliched line, but there has been times when the entire world didn't believe in me, when I didn't believe in myself, and somehow or the other he kept on believing in me. So, that kept me going. That still does. 7. Um, I was really, I still am very not confident about myself, about how my body looks, about how I look. And there was a time when I was really, really, really fat. And I used to have a huge booty. And I would stand, I would not be able to stand in front of the mirror. And he would give me a belly rub. He would count the tires in my belly and tell me, you are sexy. And I would actually believe that. He made me want to look at myself in the mirror. 8. When he learned how to drive a scooty in 15 minutes, so we were in Goa, and I was like pestering him for months that you need to know how to drive a scooty because 4 of us are going to be there, and we do not want to take a car. It's going to be expensive, and he kept on telling me, I'll get it done. I'll get it done. So the day he reached Goa, I looked at him with the scooty and I realized that he does not know the, like, even 1 millimeter of how to drive a scooty. So I was disgusted. I had one more very close friend, and I told him, I'm not going to sit behind you. You take Vartika along with you, and both of you go to hell, because I was very angry, and she was supporting him. So I was sitting behind Shoaib, and he told me, give me 15 minutes. So he went with the scooty. I do not know where he went. He went to a hilltop or something, and he learned how to drive a scooty in 15 minutes. And even after he learned how to do it, he could have told me that, come and sit behind me now. You don't need to sit behind anybody else. You come and sit behind me. But he came and told me that, I know I'm going to be safe. I know I've learned how to drive, but I still want you to be safe. So I'll carry Vartika. You sit behind Shoaib. And that made me respect him so much. When there was a time when recently, when he was stuck in this the protests for this CA bill and NRC was going on, and he was stuck in the traffic for about 8 hours. People were burning tires, the ambulances were being stopped, people are running like crazy in the name of religion, and he's sitting in his car listening to Coldplay, looking at people burning the tires, and he calls and tells me that it would be really good if I got a hot plate of khichdi here. And he goes to the same route the next day because his family needed to be in that place and he did not trust them with the driver. So, these are the places where I'm immensely, immensely proud of him. 10. When he showed up wearing this skull cap kind of a thing, because he didn't have an umbrella and he thought the skull cap was going to protect him from the rain, in between a cyclone. Ayla was going on, and he showed up outside my door during a cyclone because he wanted to see me. Mm. When he tells me, you know, try, try to do something, his exact words are or. Or means flying, or না, maximum কি হবে পড়ে যাবে, আমি তো থাকবো. So this feeling that he tells me to fly and he tells me not to be scared if I fall down. This is very new to me because from childhood I have been made to believe that mistakes are lethal, that you cannot make a mistake, that a mistake is a punishment. But he encourages me to make mistakes, he encourages me to fly. That's a wonderful feeling. 12. When he gives up on his last piece of pizza or chocolate for me every time and he pretends that he's not hungry. 13. When I tell him how crazy and psyched up I am, which I really am, and instead of being afraid, he tells me, bring it on. When he tells me to chase my dreams, to claim what I want, even if that means losing him. You never know until you try. If it turns out bad, you will rule out at least one wrong option. I have never thought like this. I have always been very particular about being right all the time, even if that meant doing something which I never wanted to do, but I had to be right in front of the world. So he makes me think otherwise, and I love him for that. 18. When he got up on that giant wheel, not the big one, there was this octopus giant wheel which he got up on, and he has a very traumatic history about giant wheels. When like during his childhood, he suffered an accident. The entire wheel fell down, and he was unharmed, but he's really scared of these rides. And yet, he went into this ride with me, even after he was shit scared, just because he wanted to share that happiness, that moment of happiness which I was having. He wanted to share that. So he gave up on his fear, his insecurity for my happiness, and that meant a lot. When he's around kids and dogs, oh my god, my ovaries just burst. When he's around dogs, especially. He has this funny voice, like he has a special voice reserved only for dogs. It never comes out for anything else, but when he's around dogs, he's just a right or left swipe, right swipe. On Tinder, if you see him around a dog, don't do that though. 21. When he does not know how to give up, either on things or on people. So I was putting all these fairy lights in my room, and the what do you call that, electric box or something, the extension cord, one of the extension cords was not working because it was 15 years old, and he sat with that for about 3 hours. He opened up the entire circuit, he went to YouTube, found out how the inside of the extension cord thing looks like, made some connections, and until and unless he could make it work again, he sat with it. Like, I would have just gone and got a new one, but he chose to repair things, he chose to fix things. And this is how he is with people around him. He does not give up. He fixes when things are wrong. And I am this person that if something is wrong around me, I'll either ignore it or I'll just delete it from my life. But he has taught me how to fix something, how to stick to something, how to, keep something rather than just discarding it away. 22. His playlist. Every time I have played his songs in public, people have become rats of Pied Piper. I mean, there is, I don't know what is there about his songs, but random people come up to me and ask me, what song is that? Which never happens when I play those songs. So his playlist is something which I'm proud of. When he rolls, if you know what I mean, he makes the most beautiful, most perfect joints in the world. 24. When I don't not know what I'm feeling, but he knows what I'm feeling. Like there has been times when he has come and told me ki you are feeling angry because you love this person, or you are feeling angry because you're jealous of this person. You're feeling insecure and that's why you're shouting. And I have been like, no, not at all. And after 2 minutes, I'm like, okay, that is exactly what I was feeling. How does he know that? So he makes me realize things which I would have never realized by myself. When he tells me to love and be loved, I mean, we have been in a relationship for about 10 years now, and I have had multiple crushes all the time. So I come up to him and I'm like, I fell in love with this girl. She was so beautiful. She had such a lovely hair. I fell in love with this man. He had such a lovely curly hair. I fell in love with this dog. So I keep on pestering him with things like, I fell in love with this, I fell in love with that. And I expect him to be jealous. And he tells me, in a world full of hatred, it's a gift that you can love more than one person. Like, is he really that good? But yeah, he has been the same for the last 10 years. 26. When I tell him my craziest dreams, like, okay, let's not go there. And he does not judge me for it and he finds a way to work on it. Like, whatever I tell him, no matter how crazy that seems, it is not crazy enough to him. It is possible to him. And then it becomes possible to me. 27. When he teaches me, if you love somebody, you will always want them to be happy, even if that happiness doesn't involve you. And he actually believes it. There has been times when uh, he has realized that I'm happy with perhaps my roommate or with my work or with something that does not involve him. And he has never restricted me in that. He has never been insecure for that. He has looked at me from a distance, seen people love me, seen me loving people, being happy about it, and he has been proud, and I feel the same for him. So I think this is a very, very big thing to acquire in any kind of relationship like ours today, where so many options are available, so much of the relationship is dependent on phone and everything, but we have never really restricted each other from anything ever. And that is perhaps one of the reasons why we never felt the need to move away from each other. 28. He tells me this world is actually a crazy cereal, like a soap. And if you do not like something, you consider it's just the TV going on in the background. And you will realize that you don't feel angry anymore. 29. যে মানুষটা নিজেকে ভালোবাসতে জানে না সে কারুর ভালোবাসা রাখতে পারে না. He tells me if you do not know how to love yourself, you cannot love anyone else. And love begins by loving yourself first. If you love me by not valuing yourself, you do not love me. You need me to love you back. because you can't do that to yourself. And no matter how much I love you, it will never be enough. For nobody will be able to love you like the way you would have loved yourself. And this is something which, you know, has made me a very different person. I always used to think that if you feel incomplete and if you find another person, you're going to feel complete, but that's not true. If you do not know how to like your own company, if you do not know how to value yourself, if you do not know how to love yourself, you will not be happy with anyone loving you back. So that is something which I've learned from him. 30. Because he makes me a better person. Because he teaches me to fight for what I love. Because he makes me look at myself in the mirror and say bow chicka bow bow. Because he never gives up on his friends and family. Because he holds on to his enemies closer and roasts the fuck out of them. Because he makes me believe that I'm a wizard, that I I can do anything that I want to do, that Harry Potter is actually real, that magic happens when you really want it to. Because you, Anirban Chatterjee, make my heart go, mm, happy birthday.